أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We welcome everyone, including all reaching us through Smart Bilal, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Radio 1584 and all Medina media platforms. Today's Juma talk at Masjid al-Haq at the entrance of Lodiam, Pretoria, Republic of South Africa is entitled Towards a Meaningful Reconciliation of the Rainbow Nation. This will be based on chapter 4 of the Holy Quran, Ayah 114. And the talk will be delivered by Sheikh Nurdeen Yaseen, who is the holder of a BA degree in laws from Medina University, Saudi Arabia, and is also sitting for his masters in law from the University of Pretoria. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله وحده والصلاة والسلام على من لا نبي بعده وبعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Alhamdulillah, today is an important day in the history of South Africa. In 1995, the then president and his government decided that on this 16th of December, in South Africa it should be regarded as the day of reconciliation. They were looking for a day and a date whereby the Afrikaner and the native, the black people of South Africa, would find some significance and relate to that particular day in an effort to reconcile, in an effort to unite, in an effort to forget what had happened during the time of apartheid. So the government decided on the 16th of December, which is today. For the Afrikaner, this particular day, the 16th of December, was a day, according to their history, when they won and had a victory against the Zulu nation or the Zulu kingdom. They say they had vowed that if they win and if they won, then they are going to dedicate the 16th of December as a day of celebration and as a day to show gratitude to God Almighty. So, on the 16th of December 1838, it is said that the Afrikaner won the war against the Zulu nation. But when you look at the perspective from the African, the native of South Africa, the black South African, the 16th of December is also important, especially to the African National Congress, because on the 16th of December 1961, the Umkhonto we which means the spear of the nation, was formed to make an arm of the African National Congress, which would be responsible for the armed struggle. Up to that particular point, it was the belief of the ANC and other people that the diplomatic way is the best solution to finding the answer to the problems that arose as a result of the apartheid. They then realized that the only way, the best way, and in Arabic we would call jihad, it was going to be jihad. The only way would be jihad and armed struggle against the white settlers. So you have two camps and you've got one day, and to both camps it is significant, and it was the intention of the government then to come up with a way and a strategy to reconcile and to have national unity. Fast forward to today, fast forward to years after they had made the decision to reconcile. When they had made the decision to make the 16th as the day of reconciliation, do we have the meaning reconciliation in South Africa? When we look at the current state of affairs, when we look at what is happening in South Africa, when we look at the issues of inequality in South Africa, when we look at and hear the stories of discrimination, especially towards those who are poor, especially towards those who do not have anything in their lives, can we really talk about reconciliation looking at what South Africa is today? According to statistics, South Africa is the most unequal nation in the world. According to recent statistics, between April and June of this year, 6,424 people were murdered in South Africa. That means, on average, 71 people are murdered in South Africa. Can we really talk about reconciliation? According to the South African Police Services, the main cause for these murders, for these killings, is misunderstanding and arguments. And that this nation, there is a lot of disunity. Which then begs the question, while we might want to reminisce about the past, the most important question is, how can we ensure that there is meaningful reconciliation in South Africa? Another important question that we have to ask ourselves as Muslims, what is the role that we can play as Muslims to ensure that there is reconciliation, that there is unity, that there is mahabbah within this country? Because as Muslims, alhamdulillah, we are able to benefit from the resources of this country. As Muslims, alhamdulillah, we are able to practice our religion. So we cannot just benefit without also giving. So the question is, how do we make sure that we contribute and we play an active role as Muslims in the true and meaningful reconciliation in this country? When we look at the content within the Quran, and when we look at the lifestyle of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, especially when it comes to the issues of reconciliation, it seems that there are two main things that the Muslim is required to do. The first one, as is said in Arabic, مَنْ أَصْلَحَ مَا بَيْنَهُ وَبَيْنَ اللَّهِ أَصْلَحَ اللَّهُ مَا بَيْنَهُ وَبَيْنَ النَّاسِ. Whosoever reconciles between himself and Allah, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to reconcile between him and the other people. This is the ingredient that was missing when there was the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, because there was no Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the equation. This is the ingredient that is missing within the Muslim community as we fight against each other on a daily basis. Because we have removed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from the equation. This is the ingredient that is missing when we are fighting with our spouses, when we are fighting with our siblings, when we are fighting with our neighbors, when we are fighting with our fellow Muslims. The ingredient that is missing whenever we try to make an effort to reconcile, the ingredient that is missing, we have removed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from the equation. Look at the life of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam when he was reconciling, and when the people come to him and say, "You Muhammad, you are nothing to us but like Yusuf was to his brothers." And the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was willing to let go of everything. Why? Because what they requested has Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala within it. So the first obligation, the first thing that is important in South Africa, in the Muslim world, is to remember that we have an obligation to always include Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in what we do. The second thing, which we can find in the verse in chapter 4, verse 114 in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, "La khayra." There is no goodness when you, the people you meet, especially in secret. Why? Because we as Muslims, when we see people are fighting, when we see that there is disunity, instead of going in there and making sure that there is no fighting, we go in there and have secret meetings with those people so that they continue to fight. When a Muslim country is fighting another Muslim country, the other third Muslim country is going to sit down with both of them secretly and make sure that they continue fighting. When someone sees a husband and a wife fighting, he is going to go to the husband and tell him that no, your wife is wrong because of A, B, C, and D. Then goes to the wife and tell her that your husband is wrong, A, B, C, and D. This is the unfortunate reality within the Muslim community, where we have actually come and say we are going to make sure that we are going to leave the people disunited. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, "Illa man amar bisadaqa," except those who find within themselves a willingness and they actually sacrifice from their own wealth to make sure that the people come together. Aw ma'rufin, or they actually come with goodness for the people. Our Islah bayna al-nas, or they make the effort to make sure that the people are united. Al-Islah bayna al-nas, the true and meaningful reconciliation for this community, for this nation, can only be through us making sure that this nation knows about Allah, that this nation knows about the oneness of Allah, that this nation knows about the life of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Because there cannot be Islam if it is not built on the belief of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So in closing, we always say that each and every Muslim has got three obligations, and we always repeat that. It is obligatory for us to learn our religion. It is obligatory upon us to practice our religion. It is obligatory upon us to propagate the religion. That is the only solution. When we learn the religion of Islam and learn about reconciliation in Islam, it is up to us to then practice it in our own communities and also propagate and show the people that this is the religion of Islam. This is what Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy upon us to learn, practice and propagate the religion of Islam. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put in our hearts the willingness and the zeal to want to always find common ground. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy upon us to be the better men, inshaAllah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us all understanding, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us all entrance into Jannat Firdaus without reckoning. Jazakumullahu khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.